Wonderful to see everybody this evening. So we got full agenda. We'll start moving through
Try a
it.
different one. Thank you.
The first item on the agenda is we have the minutes from our November meeting that were distributed via email. And could I have a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
That was Mike. I had one, any corrections?
I didn't see any.
The only thing I think is a correction is on page 5, that paragraph, I think it should just say, so we got I got a question from Nick Wildman, DNRT, regarding accessibility. So this, the New Bedford Trails thing, that should just be struck.
Okay. Do you need another motion?
And then I will get a motion to accept the minutes as amended, with that striking the language on page 5, striking from the New Bedford Regional Trails Organization.
So moved.
And a second on that? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you.
Abstain, because I came in halfway through the meeting, so I don't know what went on.
Okay, one abstention. Thank you. And do we have, it is Christmas time, so do we have any invoices, any money to give away?
Okay. Hey, Santa.
Great, thank you.
Or Chris.
We have an invoice for the dog park. This is Ramco Survey Stacks is the vendor. And this is per the contract that is currently constructing the dog park. And this includes earthworks, site drainage work, crushed stone and pea stone, steel edging being installed, 6-foot high fence and gates, stone dust walk, and seeding, loam and seeding. And let's see, that is an amount of $31,426.75. So take a look at that as it goes along. And then from, regarding the DCTV bid documents project from the Brewster Thornton Group Architects, this is this is construction document work and some building assessment, structural assessment work for a total of $8,154.40. And then TNT Gravestone Solutions, that's kind of a interesting name, isn't it?
Yes. I like that name.
Yeah, someone had fun with that.
Yeah.
I do not think anything was blown up, but this is for work at the Joseph Davis Cemetery. All the gravestones have been sprayed with the biological solution to clean them. And let's see, if this isn't for. All right, so that's work in progress there, $5,500. There we go. And that's it for our invoices, is that right?
Yes.
Yep. And Susan, once you have them, you can do the motions to approve payment. see as our sign says we are being recorded by DCTV.
All right, I make a motion to pay Ramco Survey Stacks $31,426.75 for site work on the Dartmouth Dog Park.
Second by John. And any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No, that's unanimous.
Is this the dog leash, the dog one again?
What's that?
This is DCTV. But isn't this the? You seen that? It's not all of them together, is it? That's
This is DCTV, yeah. Somebody click the dog park to this one.
All right, I make a motion to pay Brewster Thornton Group Architects $8,154.40 for the DCTV work.
Second? Is that John, you the second? Who was the second there?
John.
John was. Any discussion? Questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No, that's unanimous.
I make a motion to pay TNT Gravestone Solutions $5,500 for cleaning gravestones at the Joseph Davis Cemetery.
Second.
All right, John's the second, and any discussion or questions? All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous, thank you. And as that's coming back, we'll sign that.
Get back.
This was supposed to go with the dog.
Okay. That one goes with the dog park.
That one.
Is this part of it?
I think it was part of the one that just passed. Yeah. It was returned.
This belongs to the previous one.
This must have come out of one of them.
Oh, yeah, this is the dog park one. Okay. And if you could pass the cookies, please.
Starts off the year with oranges and fruit, ends up with cookies.
I know, huh?
On downhill quick, buddy.
I'm definitely going downhill quick.
Thank Gretchen for us.
I will
Yes.
definitely do that.
Yeah, thank.
Definitely do that. She enjoyed doing it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Nice to make cookies around Christmas, John.
Yeah. We were well choreographed in the kitchen. I was making dinner, she was doing the cookies. And one to the stove, back up, one to the oven.
I think the rock house.
We look quite choreographed.
Nice.
She enjoys it, and if she wants to do it again next month,
Yeah,
just let her enjoy it again. And I mean, we don't want to take away her fun.
yeah, that's true. We don't want to take that away. Okay, next on our agenda item is, we have eligibility consultation with DNRT regarding the Ocean View project. I had put a placeholder in here for the Agricultural Preservation Fund, but we'll table that because we don't have a specific consultation kind of request. But Nick Wildman is here, and Nick, I wonder if you could just, yeah, great, you're gonna go there to the microphone, and just give us just a short kind of summary of what you all are looking to do, and this is just an opportunity for us to kind of just talk about that idea and then just give you feedback on it as you would prepare then a full application.
All right, great. Good evening. I'm Nick Wildman, the Executive Director of DNRT, for those of you I haven't interacted with much. Thanks for having me here tonight for this eligibility consultation. I had spoken with Mr. Baker-Smith about this idea actually a couple times, and he recommended that we submit some materials for the committee members to consider. So hopefully those were distributed. Were these distributed to everybody?
Yeah, I think it went by email,
Okay. I had sent along some renderings and things. In short,
but I will, if you need, do you have a hard copy? But- Okay. You send that around as you.
okay, great. Yeah, sorry, I
I didn't get that.
thought those were going to be submitted.
Oh, did not? Okay.
I didn't see it. We might
So
have had it.
there might have been a snafu with the email, so
Okay.
take a little bit
I
more
can
time if you
walk 'em
want.
around.
Yeah, walk us through this.
The
a little
short,
bit.
we'll start simply. DNRT is very conscious of the fact that the amenities that we provide to the town can be somewhat ableist. In other words, things like our trail run and our walks and hike series. You know, we have a lot of folks in this town who, even if they don't use a mobility device, just have a hard time getting out. And so we've been looking for opportunities to provide not just a token kind of simple thing, but a real meaningful outdoor experience to folks who are challenged, if not just with mobility, but also with sight and other types of limitations. And so we pulled together a group composed of folks from the Schwartz Center, advocates who do statewide advising on accessibility for mobility challenged folks. We had some elderly folks and actually one woman with some pretty severe sight challenges to advise us on really what that community was looking for in this area. And you may know that at Stone Barns, Audubon already provides an all-persons trail, as they call it. Well, not too far from there, through these discussions, we identified our property known as Ocean View Farm Reserve on Allen's Neck Road as a great place to do this. The reason why is most of our trails have lots of rocks and roots and things, and to get in there and do an accessible trail in an environmentally sustainable and smart, low-impact way would be extremely challenging. The trail we already have at Ocean View Farm is about 3/4 of a mile from the parking lot down to the observation platform. So it's a substantial hike. It's a substantial adventure for many people. Right now, if you're just somebody who gets a little tired after, 10 minutes of walking, there's no opportunity to sit down, to get out of the sun on a sunny, hot summer day. And for some folks, getting out to that platform, the stairs can be a challenge. So with the advice of our committee, we identified first that Ocean View Farm would be a great place to do this. And part of the reason I'm here before you today is because, as you probably know, Ocean View Farm was protected in part with the support of CPC. And it also already is covered under a conservation restriction that's co-held by the town. This property is open 7 days a week, 365 days a year during daylight hours. So it's a great opportunity to bring people down to the Allens Pond area. It dovetails nicely, I think, with the facility that Audubon provides. And really, from our view, would meet with some of the goals that are important to this committee. Specifically, the goals to really provide recreational opportunities for all members of Dartmouth's community. I'm very proud, and I think we're, generally pleased with the work that DNRT has done to provide recreational opportunities. But if you're someone with a wheelchair or a walker or some kind of difficulty getting around, perhaps vision limited, most of our facilities really aren't going to provide you a meaningful experience. So I wanted to share our plans with you, put putting together an application for your review is no small effort, and we want to do a good job with that. And I don't want to do that at all if the committee feels that this isn't really a good fit with your mission.
Right, so, one thing just added is I did check with the Preservation Coalition and said, so, an existing, previous project, is this something that, would be eligible and under which kind of category? And got the feedback that, yes, this would be eligible because trails, which is kind of the trail on this property, is considered recreational, can be on a conservation, but it's considered recreational. And this, providing handicapped or ADA accessible trail would qualify as rehabilitating that recreational use, if you will, the trail part. But I thought it would be good just to have an opportunity for folks who want to ask some questions about this now. This is kind of just to make sure we're kind of clear about the idea of what this would include. DNRT will file an application, for us to consider. But I just wanted to take a few minutes in case you have some questions, want to try to understand what
Sorry to hog.
they'd like to do here. Yeah.
I just have a question about the improvements. Who owns the improvements once they're complete? Is it DNRT?
Yes.
Is it the town? Okay.
And it would be our ongoing maintenance responsibility. It's something we've talked quite a bit about. The way we evaluated a number of different trail materials, for example, and the one we've settled on is sort of like a Rice Krispie treat. You take the aggregate and you mix it with an adhesive and lay that down. It's very durable. It's much less prone to washing out than other things, but I bring that up as an example of the ongoing maintenance that would be needed if that were to have issues. In addition, so what I should say is it's really not just the trail. We don't want to have a trail that brings somebody to a platform they can't get up on. And so, as might be counterintuitive, what we're planning at this stage is to do the improvements to the platform first. Because right now, our preliminary design budget is, for the entire project, is about $900,000. We're planning to phase this out into at least 2 years of implementation. So year one would be constructing the improvements to the platform, having an ADA compliant ramp, some additional signage and interpretive elements, some benches, some more seating, both up on the platform and underneath it to keep people out of the sun. Because one thing we've heard is that folks who have not just mobility challenges, but some folks who have cognitive or developmental issues, sometimes regulating temperature can be a challenging thing for these folks. So the last thing we want to do is create a safety issue for vulnerable folks. Anyway, back to what I was saying before is, so that would be phase one. Depending on how funding works out, most likely we would do the improvements to the trail and to the parking area in year two.
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Yeah.
So you just mentioned $900,000 preliminary design. That's just for design, that's not like the construction to build it out?
Oh, no, that is, I'm sorry.
Is, okay, so that includes the construction cost. I thought so, but I just wanted to clarify that when you said preliminary design. So it's not just design, it's design and construction for
Right,
phase,
yes,
for phase one or for both?
The
phases?
entirety.
For the entirety, okay.
And we're looking, we've had a number of consultations with different vendors and different contractors, and we think that might be high. You
Yeah.
hire a Boston consultant, and sometimes you get Boston prices. But, this isn't just a stone dust path. We're really trying to make something that's going to be stable and durable and also safe. It has a textured surface, which, I said, well, why don't we just, if there's no wetlands, why don't we just pave the thing and do asphalt? That's nothing's cheaper and faster than that. But really what we're trying to provide here is a surface that provides that outdoor experience. And so we're going to have to do something a little more expensive. Hopefully, we're able to defray those costs. We're talking with Voc Tech about carpentry shop, about them working on the platform, for example. And I've had certain private donors and foundations that specialize in handicapped accessibility engagement with veterans especially, who are interested in supporting this project as well. So I think it's quite different from other work that we've done, because it touches this nerve, that generally isn't part of what DNRT does when we preserve a property and open a trail or something like that.
Other questions? Yeah, John?
Just curious, you said this is gonna be a multi-phase project, you're planning a multi-phase project, and I'm sure this question has come up, I'm probably not the first to ask it. And my first thought is, are you putting the cart before the horse? Multi-phase means to me there's always a risk that phase 2 or phase 3 doesn't occur.
Right.
You mentioned phase 1 would be the work at the platform, a ramp. If phase 2 or 3 doesn't come along, now we've got a ramp that leads to nowhere as far as somebody with
Right.
mobility issues getting to the ramp. So has that been considered?
Absolutely, yeah. So we had
What are the risks? I mean, you're not afraid of the risk that phase 2 and 3 doesn't come on? You got a ramp that doesn't,
my preference would be to do it all at once. I don't know how feasible that's really gonna be to happen. That said, I also don't know, I've got these lines in the water with other funding sources. CPC certainly wouldn't be our only support for this, and I don't have concrete commitments yet for that. So in other words, what I'm saying is, best case scenario is, before my application, I may find out that we have private donations to cover this all, and we don't have to involve a request to CPC for phase 1. That'd be tremendous. This is the same question we had in a meeting we had with the administrator for DCR's Mass Trails Grant. These amenities that we're hoping to provide are somewhat kind of ancillary to their trails goal. It's called the Trails Grant, so they consider trails first and foremost. The big thing is, you're right. Multiple phases mean phase 2 might get stalled out. At the end of the day, we don't want to bring people to a structure that they can't enjoy. If you've been to Ocean View Farm and you've been to that platform, that's your view of Allen's Pond, and it's really an excellent view, not only to Allen's Pond, but if you turn and look back north, you can see all the agricultural area, preserved forests and things. So, it's a bit counterintuitive, but if we can make these improvements to the platform, which I don't have a finalized budget yet, are actually less expensive than doing this Rice Krispie trail, we can actually kind of make this springboard that support to the next phase.
so if you were looking for funds, are you looking for funds solely for phase 1?
At this time, I don't know. I was hoping to get the committee's view on the eligibility of this. In terms of the grant and exactly the breakpoints and the budget, that's still to come.
Yeah, so my personal opinion, I think it's a worthy project. Would love to see something like this in town. I am a bit nervous about the cart before the horse. Me voting on, taxpayer money going to a project that never come to fruition because we can't control phase 2 or phase 3 is a bit concerning for me. So from my perspective, you might want to rethink that on, are we better off going in and asking for funding for phase 2 and phase 1, we go elsewhere. Just from my perspective, if you were to come in and say, we're going to do the whole thing all at once, fine,
Well,
I don't feel I'd be putting the taxpayers' money at risk.
Understood.
Doing it all at once.
Right.
And that's just solely my opinion. I'm only one of 7, 9, whatever.
No, it's completely understandable, and that's good input as far as crafting a competitive proposal to you.
But I applaud you for thinking of the project and trying to make it happen. Yeah.
Susan?
Maybe I missed this while I was looking at your pretty pictures, but is there a cost breakout for the different phases?
Yes, I didn't provide that with my packet because it's still sort of preliminary.
Hand wavy?
What's that?
Can you give us like a hand wavy, and then what are you asking for roughly from CPC?
I don't know yet. My hope was just to find out, is this eligible? I want to put forward to you all the most competitive and appealing project, and that includes the budget, it includes the sort of sequencing, but I don't have that yet.
Yeah. Jim?
I'm willing to suspend for 6 months or more the question of funding. You have a terrific track record in engaging partners in funding of your projects. And so I'm willing to just not worry about that at this moment. To the question of eligibility, I don't think this steps on any of the landmines of the Community
Right,
Preservation
doesn't seem to.
Act about open space enhancement. You know, it's not a stadium. It's not synthetic turf. And those are the things over which there have been battles in the history of the act. And I mean, to my point of view, this is fully eligible for for funding with CP money. It was a great idea.
Yeah, Margaret?
I just have a question because when I used to walk, before I hurt my ankle, I used to walk by there all the time. Do you have any idea how many people use that, like in the summertime and the fall?
We don't really know. It's not one of our more higher trafficked. It's not like a Destruction Brook where
Right.
you can hardly get in the
Yes,
parking lot on a
right.
Saturday or something like that. What I think is great about this is this will be a draw, and what we found out through our research, talking to disability advocates and others, is that actually having the Stone Barn facility nearby actually makes it more likely that folks will visit it. I think this opens us up, it opens Dartmouth up to folks who will come from out of town because they have a family member who uses a mobility device, or somebody who, one of our advisory folks was from the Perkins School of the Blind. And so there's opportunities to have outreach and connection with that community. So it's a great question. We don't have the answer to that because we've always wanted to, we haven't made those efforts out of respect for people's privacy and things and different reasons. But I think that by making these changes and making these improvements, it sort of makes it more of a destination than it even would be now.
So you would also allow CNI dogs to go down?
Oh, yeah,
there now, because
absolutely.
you don't allow dogs, but.
Right, dogs at Ocean View Farm are required to be on a leash, unlike at Destruction Brook or some of our other reserve, and that's because we manage the grasslands and hayfields there for ground nesting birds, so we can't
Right.
have dogs tearing off through there. But yeah, certainly those dogs would be accommodated by this too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Susan?
So if it does become more popular because of this, is there opportunity to expand the parking lot?
Absolutely. One of the figures that was in your packet shows the improvements to provide for not just regular larger spots, but ones to accommodate vans. We do have a bit of a grass area there that has room for even further expansion if we need it.
And do you know if the construction would have any impact on the farm next door?
No, we've been working with the farmer who leases that hayland and both hays it and grazes it for us to make sure that not just the timing, but the alignment of the trail, which would be a little bit different than the dirt path that's there now, would be conducive. We don't want to set up a situation where, suddenly, he's got to go all the way around just to get a mower on the other side or something like that. So that's been part of our work, is to coordinate to maintain that aspect of it as well.
And then
Nor do we want cows walking all over our beautiful
Right.
no
trail.
cow, no cow patties. And then finally, your conservation group, I'm assuming that there isn't any issues with runoff on this Rice Krispie or any other environmental concerns?
Yeah, it's really important. That's the other benefit of this site because it is relatively flat. There's one spot where there's a little bit of a grade to it. One of the concerns that we have that we'll be working out in the final design is how we want to have an edge. So this has been one of our challenges for folks who have sight impairments. Maybe they use a cane or don't. Having some kind of edge helps those folks kind of navigate where they're going, obviously. A border or some kind of edge, whether it be stone or wood or whatever, is something that a cane can hit and they can say, all right, they can navigate by that. The other option we're considering is a rope,
Right.
handheld rope situation like they have at Stone Barn. That's quite a bit more of a cost and maintenance challenge. And, you know, just with any group, you know, it's not a monolith. It's not a homogeneous thing. Everybody doesn't agree. Some folks with sight impairments hate those ropes, some because they feel tied in. Some people love them. So those are the kind of details that we're working on because they have to work not just for the user, but for if we're trapping water on there that's going to ice up or, you know, cause that material to break up, it's not going to work. So these are some of the final design kind of tweaks that we'll be making. But yeah, in general, it's very flat. Environmental permitting is relatively minimal because at the very end, we are in the buffer zone and we are in some endangered species habitat, but this is very de minimis, you know, impact to those and we're very, you know,
What's
competent.
the
at
material
permitting.
again? You saying, what is actually the material, Rice Krispie? What is this material?
What do they call it? There's a
Is it
few.
concrete, is it asphalt? Because really, there's only two things that's gonna be any type of, in New England, is gonna survive. It's one or the other.
Yeah, this is like an asphalt. This is in the sense that it is basically, it's sort of like gravel or like a stone dust, but you put it down with a binder compound. That's like your marshmallow in the Rice Krispie treat situation. So it's the same thing that DCR uses on its trails all around Massachusetts.
So it's processed gravel, it's processed asphalt. It's just ground up and then resurfaced with a binder.
Yeah, it doesn't look black. It looks like, and it's got kind of this textured kind of topping to it.
Okay.
It's not bituminous based.
Right, exactly. It's not oil-based or anything like that, and
Well, if it's asphalt, it has to be oil-based.
it's got some kind of top. Yeah, I apologize. I don't know the name of that product offhand, but
Buddy?
Yes.
Can I ask another question?
Yeah.
So my other thought was when you were mentioning about some of the other sources that you might be utilizing, right? You mentioned private donations, but are there any other sources that you would have to be applying for? And I was just curious, like the timelines of those applications as it relates to our funding of the CPC and how they dovetail together. So that way, you know, your projections in terms of your timeline of when you're actually going to be able to get your funding together, all of it together, and then be able to, what's best case scenario, you know? I guess.
yeah, there's a lot of, you're absolutely right, because that is a mixed bag of things. And so, assuming that we do apply, we'll make sure that's all laid out in terms of what's in hand, what's been applied, and when that's expected, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
To make that clear to the committee.
Great.
Any other questions? Terrific. Thank you for
That's what I
coming
need
and
to
taking
do.
a little bit of time. Give us an idea of what you all are looking at. We look forward to getting an application. January 28th is our deadline. So, yeah.
No, that's fine.
Yep.
It's going to be here any minute.
Yeah, yeah.
Buddy, thank you so much. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Good holiday.
Okay. So the next thing on our agenda is to go into a public hearing session regarding our annual needs assessment and see if there's any comments that we have received. Yes, we tabled that because we don't have. Okay. Yeah, thank you. And so what we'll do is we'll take a vote to go into the public hearing part of our meeting. I will then kind of just share a couple of the ground rules, and then when we've heard the comments and are done, and there's no further comment, we'll vote to close the public hearing meeting and come back into this meeting, which will remain an open meeting. Okay, so if I can have a motion to open a public hearing,
So moved.
and this is for the purpose of comment on our annual needs assessment and plan. All right, and was there a second?
Second.
All right, Kristen. And all in favor?
Aye.
All right, that's unanimous. So, first, would hope, Nick, you would have some comment, because we love to have comments, but we often do not have people to comment. So, if you're willing, it would be great to register someone from the audience.
That's very flattering. I'd be glad to. Glad to give you some comments.
Great. Well, if you would like to come up to the podium on that. And what we'll do is we'll just, there's your thoughts about our plan, particularly your expertise. Clearly, you've done a lot of work with the CPC, in the town on open space and conservation work, but we'd be interested in just any feedback you have about the kinds of goals and strategies that we've been pursuing.
Thank you. Nick Wildman, Executive Director of DNRT, for those at home. My main sense from reading the needs assessment this year and thinking about how it fits in with other work that I know other town departments are doing. Last night, I had the opportunity to present to the Select Board, for example, and heard a lengthy discussion about property tax rates, both residential and business tax rates. And what strikes me is how the CPC fits into the larger vision, implementing the town's master plan in light of a variety of needs, really. And, it's very similar to the thinking that DNRT does. DNRT was born in, like a lot of land trusts in the 1970s, from that model of protect it first, worry about it later. Let's lock up this land. Let's make sure that development doesn't take off rampantly. I think that the Community Preservation Act kind of mirrors the evolution that DNRT has been undergoing, which is recognizing not only the value of working lands and agricultural lands, which I know that this committee has supported and is mentioned in the needs assessment this time around as well, but also balancing smart development and housing opportunities. And, I'm really pleased that there's been a lot of discussion at previous meetings and speaking kind of anecdotally with some of the committee members about the committee's role in making available the funds that it has for sustainable housing and what have you. So I had not prepared remarks here tonight, but I think that is really, I think the work of the Community Preservation Committee and the priorities outlined in this needs report really jive well with these pressures that we're seeing around town, both for not just protecting our important historical and cultural landscape, but also understanding that we need to maintain land for working lands, for agricultural purposes, and we have a housing shortage. So glad to be working with you all on all those things, really.
Are there, in terms of looking at land conservation needs in the town or priorities, do you all have a sense of priority properties on your radar screen? And how do you all go about that? And
Yeah, we have
how might that get reflected in kind of what our priorities might be in?
Yeah, we look at a range of factors in evaluating the relative benefits of protecting any property, and they range everything from the natural resources you would expect, wetlands, endangered species habitat, what have you, to scenic landscapes and working lands, agricultural land, et cetera. And then, some of the mundane kind of feasibility things. Is this, a property that, if we were to steward it, that we could manage it effectively, et cetera. As well as the opportunities for recreational. We do a lot of work that does not involve recreational opportunities, and that's a matter of capacity. That's something you'll be hearing me talk a lot about in the coming next years. We're rolling out a new strategic plan next year focused on building our capacity so that we can step up to the plate when those things happen, when we have Chapter 61 properties, right of first refusals referred to us, for example. You know, we opted not to seek Community Preservation Committee support for acquisition earlier this year of 34 acres adjacent to the Southeastern Mass Bioreserve and our Ridge Hill property. It was a tremendous opportunity. It potentially someday would be an amazing recreational opportunity based on its proximity to existing trails. You know, but we evaluated that against the committee's goals and priorities, and we said, this isn't really a good fit, and we chose to fund that through our own cash reserves to protect that property now, worry about the trails later. So, you know, for us, and I think for a lot of other nonprofits as well as from the town, you know, this committee's heard from Mark Garrett and others about the responsibilities that go into stewarding conservation land, protected land that the town holds, and the capacity, the person power, and the financial resources needed to do that. So we're in the same boat. We have to make those considerations as well. And we also want to be thoughtful about how we do that relative to asking for public funds.
Great, thank you. Any questions? Great, thank you so much, I appreciate it. We have heard from the Historical Commission. I think, do I have? Yeah. And the Historical Commission has sent us their kind of thoughts around goals and priorities for 26, actually going into 27 in terms of fiscal year. And the one thing that their comment is they suggest striking, and maybe Christina, you could say a little bit more about this, striking the support the development of a historic structures report for the Smiths Mills Library before any plan for adaptive reuse can be.
I think the conversation there was just that it's been a project that's been kicked around for quite some time, and it's kind of like who could take it, who could do something with it that would create something supported by CPC funds, accessible to the public, meet all the criteria for support from this group. And that hasn't come to fruition despite several tries. The last, I think any of us could remember, it was the Smith Mills camp, and we were waiting to see whether Mr. Savastano was going to give some input on whether that was even feasible, because it's not a public piece of land, and would the public have access to it? So it seems to be stalled, and so we thought we'd rather take it off until we have something more that we can say one way or the other about whether we can come up with a useful place for it.
And then the other suggestion, or actually the other thought was striking the support the preservation and historic rehabilitation of the old Southworth Library.
Because that had been done.
Oh, okay, so because it's been done. There are probably going to be more phases, so I'm not sure.
Okay,
But that
We
was
just
the,
knew
that was the
that-
thinking that this was a
That's
a
why.
completed project.
right.
Got it, okay.
The only thing that I see now that maybe we could also take off for now is it's under the documentation, and it's support the update of the town's archaeological reconnaissance survey, because we've also done that. It's under the first goal, before current priorities, second bullet up. It's really early on in the first page. If you see the words Macris, it's right under Macris.
Oh, right, yeah, yeah,
Support the update. So we have done that also
yeah.
already.
Okay, great. Thank you. And those are the comments that we've received, and I do not believe there is any further comment from our audience. So if I could entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion.
All right, and a second.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Right?
That's unanimous. And we are back into our regular open meeting. And so now, we want to consider adopting our plan. What I had sent out included a couple of highlighted elements. And so one question I have is if those additions, amendments to our current plan going forward are ones that made sense to folks.
I'm not sure if I'm the only one, but I didn't see anything highlighted.
I think I see highlighted is in the Excel box with acquire, create, preserve, support. Was that what you highlighted, buddy?
I thought there was a couple, do you have some?
That's the only
Wonder if that highlights, but not.
Capitalize.
Okay, there's that yellow stuff.
Right, capitalize agricultural preservation fund under community preservation strategies. That's the only one that I see. Oh, I'm sorry, are you talking about this?
Yeah,
Okay,
and so then there are the figures as well. So
Right.
let's hold off on the figures, let's just do the
The
text
figures, the
part.
figures didn't highlight in the,
Yeah,
We've got nothing in yellow
email.
at all.
maybe when it
Oh,
printed.
yeah, I have mine all in yellow.
yeah, it's interesting, it's like it didn't carry over when you look at it as
Oh,
an
because
attachment,
I
yeah.
I print everything, see?
Yeah.
Because I don't do well with
That's
what you're doing,
fascinating.
Christine. I print
Sometimes I
everything.
do, sometimes
Yep.
I
But
don't.
I don't, I printed two and I don't see it.
The version I was sent
Better keep going.
is
Ooh.
under
I don't think I have
Yeah.
that.
diversity.
Oh, no, never mind.
You got it?
Forgot. I'm set to black and white printing.
Oh, okay.
That's why.
So Margaret, I wonder if it, actually, and I'd be happy to do this, or
do you want?
I could go over the highlighted parts for folks.
Sure.
Because it's not showing up in their documents.
All right, here we go. Let me just make sure I don't give you
Which section is it?
Other stuff.
It's the
Yeah.
availability,
I have all
section
kinds
2?
of stuff here. All right,
Section we're talking
and
about?
I took that out of order.
Yes, I got section 1, which is
Yeah.
everything in green.
Right, the top, I saw that, yeah.
I got it.
Okay. So one of the edits is under the, under open space and community preservation strategies, was added a strategy of to capitalize an agricultural preservation fund. So that's one addition to our needs assessment. And this is something that we've, Agricultural Commission and the town have been looking at, and we will get an update a little bit later in our agenda, but that's moving forward. And then That was the main.
So where is that, buddy? I'm not.
Yeah,
Right here.
that is on, which page number? It is in the,
Going down quite a bit.
page 6.
Community preservation strategies.
Page is that numbered, though?
No, but they can count.
Maybe they can't.
You know what the difference is? If you click on, if you have Word, and you click Word on it, and
Right.
actually go to the Word document itself, it'll highlight.
It's all highlighted,
Oh, okay.
You gotta click the Word portion,
right.
Yeah.
then it'll all pop up.
I will
Oh, yeah, I see it now.
remember this.
It prints that way, too,
Yeah, in the email, you gotta actually go to Word.
right.
Okay.
Now we're on, buddy, we're on board.
Okay.
That's on page 2.
Can you see that? Or it says that? Okay, great. I think that's the one addition. And then the other is taking into consideration the Historical Commission's priorities and goals that we try to align with. It would include striking the archaeological survey reference, since that's been done, and striking the Old South, not the old, the Smith Mills
Right.
library item. I would recommend holding on to the Old Southworth because I think there's more work. That's still a project in progress. We're kind of, they're working off of phase 1, but I think we should expect there to be at least another 1 or 2 phases to that project.
There are a couple of other things under goal number 2 that are struck out.
Yeah. Let's see those.
Which I don't know why.
In what Historical Commission provided?
Yeah, under number 2 in the document that we're reviewing.
Okay.
Goal
And that's-
2, under objectives, the maintain inventory of historic properties is recorded by Mass Historic.
Oh,
And then the third bullet
okay, yeah,
also.
those are not strikes, those are that
Right.
they moved.
Right.
So those are not strikes. The line would go through all the words and stuff, so that little line at the bullet is what you're looking at?
Yeah, they're completely crossed out.
No, they're stricken, the whole,
Oh.
the whole bullet.
Maybe we have different versions.
It's all
Oh,
gone.
yeah, see?
I don't have
That
that.
version doesn't have that.
I don't have that.
The whole bullet, every word is struck through like you're
Yeah,
striking
as
the,
if you're taking it out.
Yep.
Which we don't want to
So-
do.
Yeah, that's
and then I see,
interesting how
so
this is,
weird, huh?
how this is reading, the sense of, how the document's reading with these edits.
Yeah, so
Is a little-
that would be no.
A little screwy, I guess one would say,
Yeah.
but they are not struck, they were just moved.
Moved where?
In terms of the order of things, so like when
Oh.
when you have kind of a review edit thing, when you start moving things around, it keeps track of what you moved. So,
Where did it go?
no, this just says it was in a different place, now it's here. But it's not, what you're looking at is, for some reason, it's showing up as stricken, but it's not.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, and I apologize, I don't know why the document's reading differently. And when you're looking at it online or
Are we
having.
gonna have a?
Well, you might have to
printed
Are
do
we
it.
gonna have a finalized copy that all looks the same to all of us?
Well, I think that's what I
Yeah,
sent you, but
you
the
did.
problem is the edits are showing up differently when you're looking
Are
at it
you
as
in
an
Word, are
attachment.
you opened up in Word?
If you open it
I
up in
just clicked on
PDF,
it.
No, it doesn't,
if it's a
yeah,
PDF,
it's
it's
don't-
different.
oh, you,
Problem.
is that in there?
Yeah, I didn't have highlights, I opened it up in Word and everything popped up.
It said doc X is a,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Yeah, that's an Apple thing.
Yeah, see, it's different, yeah. You got an Apple, yeah.
Yeah, same with me, I have docs
I
X.
apologize for
so I don't know
the
what to do about it,
technical
really.
confusion here.
I have Word on here, but
Yeah, see if you can open up in Word.
If you open up, yeah.
The 3 bullets on the upper right-hand corner, I
I
think
have
if
to-
you hit that, you open up.
there's no 3
Do
dots.
you want to just walk us through the ones that you actually
Anyway.
made, and then we'll just try to follow along
Yeah.
with that?
So one thing I can assure you is those things are not stricken, so they are in.
Okay.
Okay, we just want to be
All
clear
right,
about that.
As long as we're clear on that.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I have Doc X as well, so mine is also same as Christina's. Mine is crossed
All
out.
right, so what's that section here? That's, you go down.
Yeah, so yours is much
I think
cleaner.
sharing as a
Yeah,
PDF would
mine
help
doesn't look
solve
like
some
that.
of that,
Yes,
because everyone sees
Yeah.
a PDF the
Make it a
same.
PDF
Did
this
open it
time.
in Word, now I see highlighting and.
Right.
Yes, historic preservation.
Now it's
DOCX
different.
docs.
And then number 2.
So what's my lesson PDF?
Yeah.
PDF.
It goes on like
Yeah,
pages.
yeah.
Because that
Yes,
makes
it's
sure
not
that
crossed
it
out.
shows up the same whether you're on a
mine
PC or a
is, yeah.
Mac.
Right. Got it.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
Go across into
Thank you.
As much as I hate Adobe, that's what you have
Should
to
have
do.
Word in my,
And keep going.
All right. Well, I apologize for that,
You
but
know
that's
whether you had the word on.
lesson learned. And then I have to remember what I
All these
learned.
different devices,
Yeah,
you know,
I
they,
have to remember it.
they format differently, I guess, you know?
yeah, if you do it from your computer, he's doing it with Word. I mean, then you gotta get, you have to
Okay.
have Word on
I
your
don't know
Apple
my
phone.
business.
So the one addition is capitalize agricultural preservation fund. The one strike is to strike the Smith Mills Library reference in historic, historic
was already
preservation
done.
section.
And the archaeological survey.
And strike the archaeological.
Is this
Yeah, see, when I go to Word,
Smith
I should
Mills
show-
Library, it's mentioned a couple times. Is it just being struck from that one
change it even
place?
more.
I can't hear.
Yeah, let's see.
Here is. See, there's lines under that one there.
Because it's also under current priorities, preserve the old Smith Mills Library currently at risk on Tucker Road.
doc.
Yeah.
Collaborative process.
Yeah, 'cause I don't-
Is that a, what do you call that? Oh, it's
I
Android?
guess
oh, this is Apple.
it's still something we want to do,
Right.
Yeah, Joe, just.
Okay.
but we feel
Wording.
like it's stuck right
Right.
now.
Yeah. So the Smith Mills Library reference should be removed wherever it shows up.
Well, she's just saying that they still want to do it, it's just stuck in process.
Yeah.
So is there a way to know, like, preserve the old Smith Mills Library currently at risk through a collaborative process? I guess, you know, that's still a goal or a priority.
Right. I don't know what's the differentiation between an objective and a current priority? Because I could see it being in one place to the other, depending on what your answer is.
And the other one is support a development of historic structures report. Whereas the priority is to preserve it. I redact, I keep the preserve. Redact
So
my comment.
I would keep it in objectives and not under priorities. Is that what you're saying?
No, go with what the one that you all struck, which is support the development of historic structures report, which is under objectives, but keep under a priority to preserve the old Smith Mills Library.
So we keep
Yeah.
current priority 6.
Number 6 in the priorities there.
Because that bullet where it says support the development of historic structures report, et cetera, and coordinate with Friends of the Elderly, we did try to get it to them, and that was a dead end.
So I think what Susan's suggesting is strike
Strike it there.
that,
Yeah.
but under the current priorities further down, number 6,
Keep it.
keep that.
That makes
It's
sense.
still the overall
Yep.
kind of. Okay. So the wording edits so far, accept the addition of capitalized agricultural fund in the open space section, strike the Smith Mills reference in the goals section of the historic preservation, strike the archaeological survey language in the historic preservation section. Any other, in terms of text, any other additions or changes? And I went back and just double-checked, we don't have any new, next year, we will have a housing production plan to review and incorporate, but right now, we're still working off the approved plan. Okay. So, let's turn our sights to section 2, funding availability and plan. And this is where we just provide some general kind of projection of funding, where we anticipate or would project CPA expenditures. So we walk through, so the key thing here is the assumptions and just how comfortable we are with the assumptions. And so the surcharge revenue for 27, 28, fiscal years 27, 28, and 29 are all based on a year-over-year 2% increase. So we have the 25, fiscal 25 figures are actual. So estimating our fiscal 26, which we're still in the middle of, as being 2% higher, taking that figure and then continuing to increase it by 2% is where those numbers come from. That's generally been the trend. It has not varied much. It generally follows a 2% kind of year-over-year trend in terms of revenue. The state match, this, I assumed, when I drafted this assumes a 15% flat year-over-year. I think this year was, 17%, something like that. But it basically is just assuming a relatively low state match for the next, over this period of time. Total revenue kind of is the arithmetic of what we estimate to get from surcharge revenue and then from the state, assuming our admin budget just stays flat.
Yep.
This is what we would end up with. So you take away the admin, we don't have debt service, and so we're not projecting any debt service, and you get this net revenue available for projects. We do not have on the books any future commitments, so we haven't committed any future funds towards any of these uses, so that's all zero. And then took some guesstimates here. Looked at the last 5-year average. I put those figures off in the on the left there. And then I anticipated capitalizing the agricultural fund, so that took that 5-year estimate. Over 5 years, we've been averaging on an annual basis about 122,000 in open space, and I just jacked that up, assuming that there would be additional money if we were capitalizing the ag fund. Any given year, who knows? I mean, we may come in with someone that has, needs $600,000, for an open space project. That very well could be, but this is just, look, we don't know those projects, so. But that's why the open space is higher than the average. And the housing kept it pretty much along that line. And then historic, I am anticipating that there's more work that the Old Southworth Library, and they're working through their first phase. So this is anticipating that very likely there will be additional phases for that. So I bumped up historic, what we might be looking at in terms of historic preservation.
But you just did it for 1 year, right?
Yes, yes. I'm not sure, I think there's another phase, but I'm not sure how
Okay.
much longer. So that bumped up, and then
Went back.
it
Okay.
may go back to this kind of average rate. Thank you, yeah. And then there is setting aside the minimum 10%. I just assumed setting aside, I need, if we have a project that commits more than that amount, we don't have to set aside anything. But I just put it out there as that's an option we might consider nevertheless. So and so those numbers are based on the net revenue. So I probably should they should probably be on the total revenue.
So that's,
I
wait,
should
can I ask you a
probably-
quick question? So where you have projected FY opening fund balances, open space 212, housing 367, that's 10% of what number?
Yeah, so, and I really should do this a little differently. Then it should be 10% of the total revenue. I did it on net, but it actually
okay.
has to be 10% of total revenue. So I'm gonna need to make these adjustments. So this is like
Okay.
27, and it should be more like 112. This should be more like 114.
And then on the labeling, should we, because again, these comments on the side, I don't know if they're just for our benefit or if they're gonna be in the plan. But should there be a comment that kind of denotes what that is, you know what I mean? Like or is that in your footnote here? I'm sorry, I didn't see the footnote. Oh, yeah, right there, minimum reserve, yep, okay. Number 4.
Is that okay in the note that exists? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I thought he was talking about that.
Right. And then in terms of these balances, this is assuming that we still try to minimize, we do the minimum of what we need to do in terms of the designated restricted funds. So, and try to keep as much of it in unrestricted, just so it's available for any use. So this is assuming we're probably doing the bare minimum, and where we have projects, we're gonna commit that reserve money. And so it's very possible that these could be, these reserves might be zero in terms of, but only because we're trying to maximize that bottom one, the unrestricted.
So this is the amount of funds in the year 2029?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. With this kind of
Right.
spending, yeah, we'd have probably 4.5, almost 4.6 million available. Yeah.
Do a lot of good with that.
So those are kind of the assumptions, people are comfortable with those numbers, we can go, I will correct the
10%.
project, the 10%, because that's, has to be on this higher figure up here.
That looks good.
It's, qualitatively, we don't, other than the DNRT project we heard about tonight, we don't have other projects of real money that we can see in the pipeline, sadly.
They're probably all anecdotal. I think we've got I would think that we're going to get from the town, on behalf of the Agricultural Commission, will be a request for capitalizing agricultural fund. I think we will see something there. There is going to be a small cemetery preservation project. So I think we've already seen that application come in. We just won't discuss it till after the deadline. I think there is another potential conservation kind of project that the town may move forward with. I don't know how much.
I mean, will any of them be $1 million?
I don't think so. And I think the Old Southworth, I think the Cultural Center is very likely will submit an application because they're looking out into next year. And I think what they're seeing is, as they wrap up the work that they're doing now, they want to be able in July to go into the next phase of work, which means they'll have to apply for it in January. So I think we will very likely see an application for the next phase of work at the Old Southworth Library. So I think that's what I hear anecdotally. I think that's what's kind of hovering out there.
Have we ever got the contracts that we needed looked at by Savastano?
I did get an update from Chris, and yes, those documents came back for the rehab loan, and Cody is now looking at them. But they're new lien documents that
Right.
align and stuff like that.
Good.
Yep. So, I think the motion before us is to adopt our fiscal year '27 plan by making the following revisions to our '26 plan, which would be to add capitalizing the agricultural fund, striking the Smith Mills reference in the goals in the historical section, striking the archaeological survey reference in the historic preservation section, amending the project commitment figures to align with 10% of the projected total revenue, and adopting these figures in section 2, projecting the revenue and expenditures for the CPA funds from fiscal '27 through fiscal '29. That's the motion.
So moved.
A second.
Second?
Other questions or discussion on this? All right, all in favor?
Aye?
Opposed? That's unanimous. And I really apologize for the technical kind of snafus here. I will try very hard, and Michelle, you can help me, on these kinds of things to use the PDF version so that everybody's it's clear how we're working off that. Okay.
want this?
There, I messed it all up, so now I'm
No,
giving
you
it back
you
to
wanna
you.
keep it?
Well, I have it.
Okay.
Yeah, I had it on my phone, but
Okay,
the highlights were not shown.
okay, that's fine.
That's why I knew, uh-oh, there's that issue. Okay. So we'll get this posted. I'll put these changes in and send it to you, Michelle, and then that'll go up on our website and replace the other one.
Cold in here, or is it me?
Yeah, no, it is starting to feel a
Oh,
little
my
chilly.
God, I'm freezing.
Almost 8 o'clock, they're turning the heat off.
Oh, there you go.
Was that what they did? Because at planning yesterday, it was freezing, we had to put the heat on.
Oh, really?
We raised it up.
Time.
If you're getting cold, you should have another cookie.
They warm you right up.
That's actually how one solves that
Okay.
problem for temporarily. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, the next on our agenda is to look at our existing project agreements and MOUs and approve any extensions or any actions on these. Thank you. And we do this, I'm trying to get us in a cycle that we kind of just have to do this like every 6 months, something like that. So what you're going to get is the list of our active projects, awards. And the first few are ongoing. They're the ones that are related to the rehab loan program. And as Margaret had asked and I had answered, the documents are finally back to the town. And Cody is looking at them, so I will continue to ask for updates. We'll get an update every meeting because at this point,
Yeah,
we should be on the cusp of the
I
program
hope so.
going live again.
I hope so.
Yeah. The dog park, still an active project. And the term, current term goes to June 30th of '26. Dias Landing expansion, that is just about done, except there's an outstanding, we haven't released the last bit of funds. And they're considering kind of how to work a sign that maybe would qualify for funding, but they'd have to include reference to the CPC. So what I would recommend to the committee is we just extend that term for another 6 months as they wrap up whatever little details they want to wrap up before we close the project out. And so if I could have a motion to extend the Dias Landing Marina expansion term to June 30th, 2026.
So moved.
So moved.
All right, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed? That's unanimous. Dartmouth Heritage Trail, that project is complete. They came in under budget, so there is an outstanding balance of $7,174.28. What we need to do now is basically recapture those funds and instruct the town accountant to transfer the funds to the open space recreation reserve. So I could have a motion to transfer the outstanding balance to the open space reserve.
Motion?
All right, a second?
Second.
Right. Get that? Look, Susan, I think that her buzzer went off, maybe just slightly. So all in favor of the transfer in $7,174.28 to the from the Dartmouth Heritage Trail project to the open space reserve? Aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it's unanimous. Dartmouth Cultural Center, existing term goes to June 30th. The dinging storage, that is now that they've kind of reworked the plan since they didn't get the state grant, and now they're using their funds, but that hasn't been completed yet. So this would be to extend their term to June 30th, 26. If I could have a motion to do that.
So moved.
All right, a second? All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? That's unanimous.
Did you skip the Mendes Montero house?
Yes, I did. Yes, but I checked it off.
Efficient.
Yeah. Did we have their invoice? Did they, did we get the, for release?
I didn't see
Yeah,
it.
we did not see their invoice for release.
No, I didn't, I just have the project update.
Yeah, so there should be,
No, I didn't get anything.
yeah, they submitted the closeout report. And we got a copy of the restriction. So I think
That's all I received.
all right, let's come back to that. Because I think we need to vote on this release, but thank you, Margaret, I skipped right over it. The housing production plan, which is still in the works, we need to have a motion to extend that term to June 30th, 2026.
Motion.
A second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. And then we've got the Aponigencet Park Dias Landing Master Plan. This had been postponed until Cody came aboard and got his feet about what this is about and what the history and all of that. So they really didn't anticipate starting the work until really after January. So I think here probably makes most sense. I would recommend that we would extend it to 12/31/26 for them to complete this plan.
Motion.
And a second?
Second.
Okay, Mike. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And opposed? Okay, that's unanimous. The harbor dredging, that needs to be extended to, I think they've done most of it, but I do not think we have the closeout on that. So let's extend that to June 30th, 26.
Second.
All right, and all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. I think that really will get wrapped up very quickly, but it gives us a space. Greenway, that's already term. The rest of these go into 26. So, we're going to come back to the Montero House. What we need to do, there's an outstanding, is release the remaining funds. So we have received the closeout report, and we have received the certificate of occupancy for the building. Yeah,
She also sent this.
but I think we should have gotten there should have been an invoice for the, okay. So, but in terms of the closeout, I'll read this from Connie. The original purpose and award of $500,000 was to help close the cost of the construction gap. And Partners in Housing has, over the years, received monies from the home ministries, $115,000 of which $100,000 was a loan. Webster Bank, $7,700, and Bay Coast Bank, $35,700. CCRI, I can't remember what CCRI is.
I mean, I have something fairly different in my head
Yeah.
So, community
But they were
college.
generous with $75,000. MassWorks, $275,000. CDAC provided $15,000. Facilities Consolidation Fund provided $1.5 million. HSF, Housing
Stabilization Fund.
Housing Stabilization Fund provided $1,214,373. CPC had provided $1 million. Dartmouth Housing Authority, $1 million for site work and a $500,000 loan to cover the funding gap. And the National Housing Trust Fund, $1.5 million. And that's how that thing got paid for. And they've had two draws on the remaining grant with us. One was in September for $387,468.22. And then the balance of $531.78 in October. And we've retained a $50,000 holdback until we get the copy of the certificate of occupancy. So we have received that, as well as a copy of the affordability restriction that was recorded. So everything is in order to release the remaining $50,000. So I think since we don't have the actual invoice to sign, I think if we could take a vote to approve releasing the remaining $50,000 for the project now that it's completed and they satisfied the closeout report requirements, as well as the term of the agreement, which required the certificate of occupancy, that we take that vote, and I or Margaret or somebody can swing by and sign the invoice. But,
Make a motion to release the $50,000.
and a second?
Second?
Okay. Then all in favor?
Aye.
All right, opposed? All right. Very good, unanimous.
Did you see the invoice? Did you get an email? I haven't.
No,
sent
no,
it?
that's why I
Okay,
assumed that,
okay.
because she said, she sent in everything else, and that's when I thought, oh, well, then there would be
Yeah, I know.
an invoice for that. So
Okay,
if we
good.
could, you want to reach out to her
Yeah,
and say,
absolutely.
and so she can give you what you need, and
Okay.
and then we'll get it signed. Okay. Great, thank you. All right. And I don't know if we have any additional project status reports, other than,
Wendy's Montello House.
yeah,
I have, dog park.
the dog park.
Yeah. DCTV, we already did that.
Yeah, so we just have the dog park. And this came with the invoice, as we always would like to get them. And they said as of November 21st, the company has substantially completed the dog park project. And they expect to hold a grand opening for the park in the spring of 2026. And really, the next thing is they will be sending us a closeout report. So that's pretty cool.
It was a
You
long
know?
time in coming,
Patience.
right?
And,
Yeah, long time.
and then the volunteers who kept that
There's two women up there, they're super.
going, and their end of their commitment, they were solidly behind for several years now.
A lot of can drivers.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Very
pretty
active on
good.
social media. Yeah. good people.
So that will be a fun opening to go to. And I think some of us have watched this come and go and stall and start again and stall. So I think that
Long time.
for some, we just might be tearful.
Gotta wait till the spring, because the grass has to come in to fill.
Yeah.
The grass is gotta make sure the grass grows before they,
The dogs can ruin it.
Well, no, part of the deal is when they built it, like, they guarantee the grass, so they have
Yeah,
to
definitely.
see it grow. So they gotta wait till springtime.
which, yep.
Just as well.
I think so.
There's plenty of other extracurricular activity going on.
That's in that, that's.
But I'll follow up with that.
Yeah.
He wanted to see this.
I brought my dog there one time.
I can't bring my new dog down. Hates other dogs. I don't know what I'm gonna do about it.
It's like the owner.
Oh, great, I do want that, there's some of those numbers, yeah.
Sorry. These dogs take on the owner's personality, just saying.
This happens to be a rescue dog that I saved from Texas,
All right,
okay?
I'll check in with Becky.
Didn't have her
All
as a
the
pup,
invoices,
so
yeah.
there, guys.
All right, on the dog park, okay. Beautiful,
She likes the snow, though.
Yeah?
yeah, that would be perfect.
4 years old.
Okay.
Nobody wanted her, so I took her.
The housing production plan. Could, Margaret or
We
Mike?
have a draft. Have you seen the
I
draft?
have not seen
Okay.
that.
Well, I saw the draft because of the planning board, okay? So, I have to find it now because I had it all in there, but I think, I don't know if, did you, look it
Chris
up?
Vitale used to send out the emails, but he's gone now, right?
Tomorrow.
Who?
Tomorrow is his last day.
Oh, tomorrow's his day.
Who's last day?
Chris Vitale.
Oh, yes, yeah. Okay, we got a draft for the planning board yesterday because the planning board had a special meeting on housing. So, we have 8 strategies. Do you want me to read them?
Sure, yeah.
Explore opportunities to upgrade and expand key infrastructure across town. Leverage local funds to match state and federal grants. Work in tandem with the DPW to identify key upgrades. Establish a mixed-use overlay district to provide for additional housing opportunities. Then we need to work with the EOHLC to potentially revise and expand the existing 40R district. Create a new mixed-use district in areas across town where it would be complementary. Evaluate the Zone 3 aquifer requirement for potential reforms. Review lot coverage requirements and definitions. That's on, we broke these down to high, medium, and low. And that was one of the high things that we thought that we could do. Pursue funding opportunities and programming to bolster the CPC and Housing Trust existing resources. Create a Chapter 40Y starter home zoning district. Review the town's existing zoning to establish an inclusionary housing component for over 55. Prepare to negotiate expiring use deed restrictions into perpetuity. Collaborate with proactive housing developers and the state to create SHI-eligible units on town and state-owned land. Right now, Ross is gonna give us all an Excel sheet on all the land that the town owns. The housing goals, there are 4 housing goals based on information from the town's housing needs assessment feedback received from the stakeholder committee and community preferences survey. They are: 1, implementing zoning changes that enable the creation of new, affordable, and missing middle housing choices. Create new and expand existing programs to support production, preservation, and overall housing stability. Support infrastructure upgrades and expansion to enable housing development. Continue to produce SHI-eligible units to achieve the Commonwealth's required amount and support communities in need. There are 8 housing strategies, which we have outlined. Implementation timeframes. Each strategy has a listing timeframe within it, which should be pursued and subsequently implemented. Short means less than 2 years, medium between 2 and 5 years, and long is greater than 5 years. And on here, if you want to take a look, you can pass it around and give it, okay? So that's what we've been doing. And we should have this by the end of the year. This is a draft. You can have both pages. This is a draft, so they did promise us to have it by the end of the year. Yeah, so I think those are pretty good strategies. What does anybody think?
Well, the one thing, so I know last meeting I had to jump off or whatever,
Right.
but one of the things that I see here, they have priority, they have timeline.
Right.
And they have goals addressed, right? A, B, and C. And I know this is just like a plan, right? But I think it would be helpful, maybe, to try to maybe talk about whose responsibility. Like, whose ball in court is it? Who's, you know, whether it's
Who's
a
taking the lead or-
department
yeah.
or a committee or whoever. So that way there can be some sort of ownership of the responsibility of these items. Because I think 9 times out of 10, what happens is
Stay there.
these things sound great and they get put into a plan, but they sound great to everyone and everyone else kind of says, well, who's doing it? You know, so I think it's just like, you know, and again, we do have staff here, obviously, you know, to do those things. But if there's certain committees or whether it's, you know, departments or whoever that need to be involved, I think there should just be some discussion of that in the plan somewhere. So that way the
Well, that may
responsibility
be.
is. yeah.
The reason we got that
Clear.
draft was because the planning board was
Yeah.
having a special meeting yesterday.
Yeah.
So, we asked Dan for that, and Dan called her up, and that's what we got. I'm not, you know, that's just a draft, that isn't. So I will talk to Dan about that, I'll ask Dan. But
Just a
I think-
suggestion.
It
That's
is,
my
no, it's a good suggestion. But I think the reason we got that was because we asked for it. It wasn't completely done, but we wanted it for our meeting yesterday. Okay?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Uh, Yeah, identify who's responsible for actually doing something.
I wrote it down, I'll call Dan tomorrow.
There's a lot of things that,
They don't
there
get
are a lot
done.
of
Right.
balls that are on the floor, dropped.
Well, there's a lot of overlap too, I think, in terms
Yes.
of different departments and different, you know, committees or agencies or whatever. And I feel like that's why it'd just be good to know who's taking the lead on certain
That's a
things.
good
maybe.
point,
Yeah,
yeah.
so.
Any other questions or thoughts on that? Great, thank you for attending these on our behalf. The next thing we have, some old business, open space preservation process. There's no new news on that. I think the last time when I reported out, had a meeting with Cody and Mark, and they're looking at just what would it be to contract to jointly hold the CRs, and that seemed to be a feasible way to go. And so the next step, I think, in the town was just look at, okay, so well, it's really probably not a, well, there could be somewhat of a template on how to contract for that. You know, it needs to have some room to be adjusted for particular circumstances of a property and things like that. But for the town to think through, like, okay, if we were gonna jointly hold a CR, these are the kinds of things that we would need a vendor to do. Because we don't, as the town, just doesn't have the capacity to do that. So I think they're kind of working through that. And then, Chris, the historic building inventory?
Is complete.
Whoa.
Got an invoice today. So we, I think I mentioned last time, we all met, well, not all, a subgroup of us met and discussed, printed everything out, reviewed everything, made comments. I made a sheet that I sent back to Lynn with our comments and suggestions and revisions and things, and she incorporated those, sent back the updated drafts. We looked over those, made final comments, and she incorporated everything, and we just got kind of a zip drive with the final batch, and that was followed by the invoice. So that was sent to Robert also, so we'll bring that forward for next month.
Yeah, great, great.
And we also have a planning meeting to create the next list.
Uh-huh, there we go. Excellent, thank you. And then I don't know, Susan, you just want to say a word on the Agricultural Preservation Fund?
Yeah, so we had a really good meeting yesterday with Buddy, the AgCom, Cody, and Gary. I think it's pretty clear now that the town is willing to, the AgCom is willing and the town is willing to create a ag preservation fund that will fall under the Agricultural Commission. The AgCom will come before this group in January to talk about numbers and how it would work, to just get feedback on what would be acceptable to this group. And then the AgCom will put in an official application for the January 28th deadline. Sue Guiducci wanted me to mention that she is working on getting a meeting with the planning board in January to talk about reducing house lot size on preserved farmland to make it more feasible. We want to keep, one of the key things about attracting and keeping farmers in town is for them to actually be able to live on the farm, and it's hard to do with the current large house lots that are required.
I don't think that'll be a problem.
And then, I'm missing something, Buddy, I'm sure.
Yeah, but then you all have some details to work out about how that,
Yes,
Fund
yeah.
would-
There will be time in the spring we discussed to figure out
Yeah.
the MOU between CPC and AgCom to make sure that the funds are used correctly. We also talked about, that was it, the way the old Ag Preservation Commission or committee?
Trust, yeah.
Worked was that it had members of a number of the boards, a lot of representatives from the town. So planning, financial, and it was that collaboration amongst the town boards that made projects go smoother. So we want to recreate, we can't capitalize the old agricultural preservation fund legally the way that the statute is. So it has to be under the AgCom. So but we do want to recreate that, an advisory committee that would have different boards on it, to again, help with that collaborative effort of making projects go smoother and easier when they do come up. And also, it's a way, I think the Agricultural Commission misses being able to better inject the needs of farmers in town into the different, that was one way that the needs of farmers were brought up into different town boards, was through the Ag Preservation Trust and those meetings that had the different representation. So I think that would help keep farmers' needs, they're uplifted into the different parts of the town. So that's the hope, is to create some sort of committee that would oversee those funds and bring a lot of different opinions to the table.
yeah, great. So moving along, but come back to us in January to talk a little more. And that's good timing because what we'd like to do, I think, is we had met with the Ag Commission, was it a year ago or so? It was a while ago.
That was a while ago.
But that,
Before I was even on the CPC.
Right.
yeah, we were talking about Schofield, that, and then,
Schofield Farm,
yeah. And so one of the things we'd wanted to do is just keep touch at least once a year, if we could, with the Ag Commission. And so I think January, that's going to be a really nice opportunity to talk about this. And if there's any opportunity to kind of let this committee know about current trends, priorities, things that are really important that are going on with the farmers in town, that's probably a good education for us to touch base at least once a year around that. And that's also, I have on January is a time that we touch base at least once with Historical Commission. And so this is going to be very timely because part of it is that we would have some conversation with Historical Commission about the historic assets in town. And so we will hear, we'll have this report out on the inventory. If there's some, so I think, Chris, if there's some
I'm
highlights
gonna
from
have to have a
that.
substitute that day, I'm afraid.
Well, as long as you get a good substitute.
I am not gonna be available
Yeah.
that day.
Thank you.
But I can't just get somebody else to come for me, or,
Well, they can't vote for you, but they certainly can come and.
okay,
and
I will
be
make
the
sure that there is a
representative
representative
from the
here.
Historical Commission.
Okay.
But it'd be great to kind of, one, we should get a report, the final report.
Yep, we have that.
And then the Historical Commission will endorse paying for it.
Okay.
But we'll have to vote to pay for it since it's our, this is a work that we've had done. But it'd be great if there are any highlights from that, to hear that. And I think also for whoever is going to be from the Historical Commission, again, if there's some important kind of things that people want to share about historic preservation in town, it's good to be able to touch base with that committee at least once a year. I think for us, the ongoing thing is going to be, we have a growing reserve, and how can we put our heads together to see that, these funds can go to some tangible kind of benefit.
Well, we have a planning meeting, actually, we're informal planning meeting that we're gonna
Yeah.
have in, I don't know if Robert's talked to you about it, in January, to come up with some concrete ideas. We have one, there's the old fire station, which is now being used for storage. That's one that's on our radar, but,
Bridge Street.
right,
Yeah, yeah.
opposite the news station. So we're
Great.
actively working on that. Robert's really got a fire under him to
Yeah.
get some concrete stuff going. He knows the money's sitting there and he wants to find some
Excellent.
worthy projects.
Great. So I'll reach out to Robert and I'll, and who, Susan, who do I reach out over to Ag Commission to just, say, invite, and you're on our agenda, and we want to talk,
Sue Guiducci and Derek Christensen.
okay,
I would have them both. I think Derek's the chair,
yeah,
but Sue,
Yeah.
and Derek is now, he closed his farm stand, so he's more reachable, but
yeah,
Sue, she does I think she must be clerk, because she posts the meetings and things like that.
yeah, all right, great.
And she was also the second reviewer for the inventory list.
Okay.
So she'll be
Excellent.
good to have for us too.
Good. Okay, I think that is our business. Anything
Date of the
else?
next meeting, January?
Yeah, we need to, our next meeting is going to be,
January 6th.
is it January 6th, the second? Is that the second Tuesday?
13th is the second?
Oh, second. Oh,
Yeah.
gee whiz, that's right.
Oh, it
Yeah.
says,
13th or the 6th?
13th.
January 13th.
oh, I thought it was the sixth, so
Yes, I did too.
It's
I
okay.
forgot it.
No,
Second one.
there's-
and I think I
we had
will
changed
be
it.
able to be
Will
on the
be.
Oh,
13th.
that'd be great, yeah. But still have the rest of them come. You don't want to let them off the hook.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it.
Great, well, happy holidays to everyone.
Thank you.
Two.
Thanks again.
Please
for
take
cookies.
some cookies. I know many of you have children, you have loved ones, you don't want to like stiff them. So,
I'll take two.
Believe me, there are more cookies at home. Don't feel bad about me,
Oh, we wouldn't feel bad about you.
But a motion to adjourn,
Motion.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.